So hello everyone from everywhere, and now here we come at the end of the week, and I believe that these days that I've been sitting down here, I've been feeling fairly, empty in a nice, very nice way. I hope that it comes across okay in this YouTube world. So, if we study our thinking, and one of the ways to understand is thoughts are usually about something. So about the meal I'm going to have, or about the meal that I just had that wasn't just quite right, or the work, or a conversation, or an event that happened, or about some self-concern, or about plans we're making, or about a fantasy we have. We think about things. And the world of aboutness is at least one step removed from the world of aliveness. And in some ways, the world of aboutness is maybe a one-dimensional, two-dimensional world. It's a kind of a virtual reality world, that world of thoughts. I love my thoughts mostly. At least I have a very positive relationship to them. And so I don't feel like I need to be critical of them, but I am aware that they are about something. And if I spend too much time in that world of aboutness, then I become separated from the world of aliveness. And one way of understanding this meditation is it's a switch from aboutness to aliveness. That we're not so focused on the world of aboutness, but we're focused on the world, the living world that we can experience and feel and see and touch and know directly here and now. And so this distinction between thoughts being the world of aboutness maybe helps you to break the enchantment with them, or break the allure or the strong pull into the world of thoughts. And this idea that the alternative in meditation is the world of aliveness, maybe that is a welcoming idea to show up here for your lived experience of the moment. So, assuming a meditation posture, and gently closing your eyes. And to gently, slowly, as if you're entering into a beautiful place, a forest or a sacred grove, or gently, slowly, take some deeper breaths, just deep enough that it remains comfortable for you. And maybe in a way that's comfortable, taking these deep breaths and then slow, long exhale. Maybe exhaling more than usual. And as you exhale, let the shoulders relax, the belly relax. Let your body settle here. Letting your breathing return to normal. To begin meditation with relaxing is also a way of settling into the lived body, the experience of aliveness in the body. So as you exhale, you might relax the muscles of your face. And maybe the character of aliveness in the face changes as the face relaxes. On the exhale, softening the shoulders. And as you do so, perhaps the shoulders expand in their aliveness. The range of feelings. Softening the belly. Settling in. Letting your belly hang forward and down, maybe. As the belly relaxes, the center of gravity settles in the body. And then to have a global awareness of the body, meaning a wide, broad experience of the body as is available for you. And on the exhale, softening the whole body, softening into the sense of aliveness in the body. And then relaxing into the body, breathing. In many ways, breathing is an animating force for our lived life. And feeling how the body experiences breathing. Settling in. And if your mind goes into the world of thoughts, maybe think of it as the world of aboutness. Maybe even noticing that you're thinking about something, of course. But that's a bit removed from the world of aliveness. Here and now in the body. for these minutes, choose aliveness instead of aboutness. It makes a difference if we live in the world of aboutness or the world of aliveness. It makes a difference for the emotions that can be present for us. Some emotions are born from aboutness, the thoughts, the stories, and some emotions arise out of the aliveness. Aliveness which has a quality of freedom in it, openness, allowing. Notice what arises from your aliveness, not your aboutness. And then as we come to the end of this sitting, to see if you can touch into a place of tender love or goodwill, kindness, that doesn't arise out of aboutness, that you're thinking yourself into it, but maybe someplace deeper, embodied in your heart, an aliveness that comes from being relaxed and open and available for this world. And imagine going into the world now this way. Maybe imagine going into the world with the equivalent of Midas's touch. That whatever you touch, you touch it with goodwill, with kindness, with care. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be free. Good morning, good day. Here we are at the last talk about anger. And anger might arise out of a particular incident in the moment. And even if it does, if it lasts, it has moved from the world of the immediacy and aliveness into the world of our memory and thoughts, ideas, story making in the mind. And it turns out that a lot of anger, anything that's chronic resentment and irritation, has a lot to do with the world of aboutness, the world of thinking about things, story making that we do. And the more intense and involved we are with anger, the more there's a diminishment or a loss that we experience. There is a kind of suffering, a kind of pain and stress that comes with being angry. And there's also the more stronger it is, the more there's a preoccupation with something about something. And that preoccupation means that we're not available for a wider range of our emotional, spiritual, inner life, that and outer life. That to not be caught up in anything, we're available for a range of responses, a range of empathy, a range of perception of what's happening, and that gets diminished the more we get preoccupied. And one way to get preoccupied is around anger, and at times it gets quite intense. And it really diminishes our capacity to feel, to sense, to experience, to perceive the world and ourselves, as the world of anger tends to get reduced more and more. And it gets reduced often to a world of aboutness. Even if there's a mood that's kind of, angry, irritated, hostile mood, it's probably being fueled by some background story, belief, idea that's going on. And to have the courage to drop the beliefs, the courage to drop the preoccupations, the stories, in order to be present more fully for the aliveness of our life. So in this week, one of the things I hope that I've conveyed is that anger is a worthwhile subject for attention, for mindfulness, and for study. That rather than having some blanket policy that anger is bad and we shouldn't be angry, we don't need to have that policy, because we have a mindfulness practice that can help us find a way through the anger. And we can understand what is dysfunctional about anger, what is causing our stress for ourselves with anger, what is unnecessary, what diminishes us. We can kind of use that as an object of mindfulness to reclaim our freedom, our independence, our ability not to be caught by it. And in the process of that, we learn a lot. And so using anger as a means, a medium for learning about the grievance we have, about the difficulty that's happening, about the challenge that's somehow or other represented by the anger. And by studying it, we get to distinguish between where the essence or the essential part of study is. Sometimes we have to study what's happening externally and understand the situation better. And sometimes we have to understand ourselves better, because that's really the genesis or the active kind of center of the anger, and that's where it's productive to bring our attention to. So as I bring this to a conclusion, this topic of anger, I would like to offer you an acronym, a bit long maybe, and the acronym is Madless. To be without anger, coming to madlessness, Madless. And if you're looking at this at the YouTube now, underneath the photograph where it says a few information about IMC and the information square, I have written out the acronym. So the M is motivation. The A is attention. D is to diffuse. L is to learn. E is empathy. And S is to have story substitution. Change the story. And then the second S is to speak. We don't want to be mindful and resolve our anger and then become silent when the world needs us to speak, the situation needs us to speak about what's going on. We sometimes diffuse anger so that we can address a real world need. So motivation. Anger itself, think of it as a motivational feeling. What does it want? What is it trying to do? What's really happening there? And are we trying to get rid of something? Are we trying to change something? Are we trying to get away from something? Are we trying to attack someone? Is there hostility, which is kind of a motivation? Are we trying to harm someone, hurt someone with our words maybe? Get back at them? And or are we trying to change a situation that needs to be changed? Is it or what change are we trying to evoke with anger, trying to make happen? So to study, what is anger about? What's its purpose? And is it really the purpose we stand behind? Do we have another motivation that's more valuable for us, more important, that comes to the surface if we spend time looking at the purpose, the motivation of the anger? Attention is to really bring a lot of attention to this experience of anger. One of the fundamental aspects of mindfulness meditation is mindfulness of the body. So bringing attention to the body. If we really feel our body when we're angry, it tends to dissipate, it tends to create some space for it. It teaches us a lot about how we're involved with the anger, that we're contracted and tight and leaning forward or pulling back, whatever we're doing. Maybe we notice our fist is clenched. So to keep coming back to the body, I've been angry in the past where I didn't know what was going on with my body. Many years ago, I was really angry with someone, I didn't know it. And there was a pause, the person had to go away to do something. And so then I noticed my body. And I noticed that I was leaning forward and tight. And so then I came back into myself. And it made a huge difference. And so we use attention to notice what's happening here for us. And all these different practices of Madless all require some use of attention. And then to diffuse it. To diffuse means to, I use these terms in terms of not so much to take the fuse away, but is to dissipate or to reduce the tension that's there. And the less tension there is in anger, the wiser we'll become, the less we're under the influence of the anger. So to develop and learn skills of diffusion, of relaxation, of calming, breathing deeply, relaxing the body, taking a posture that's stable and strong, that allows kind of different kind of attention, where we're more present in a way that we're in charge, where we're more capable of making wise choices. And then to learn. I think this is one of the great principles around anger. Always when we're angry, there's something to learn. And take the time to learn it. What's the lesson that's here? And for many of us, I think, there's a huge lesson to be learned within ourselves. What is the attachment that triggered the anger? What's the place inside, the belief, the sense of self? What's the history we have? What's the wound we have that's been now touched by the incident around us? The unattended, unresolved wounds we carry with us. And so to learn what's going on. Sometimes we want to learn outside. And one of the things to learn outside is to learn what's going on with the other people. What's really happening there? Many years ago, I read about that in New York, the bus system, they gave as kind of a training for bus drivers. They showed them a video of people who get on the bus who are very annoying to bus drivers. That they just have behavior which is kind of troublesome, difficult, and they interviewed or described or talked to these people and found out that they had all kinds of personal circumstances, very difficult, learning disabilities, maybe all kinds of personal challenges that were not obvious on the surface. And as soon as the bus drivers began looking at these personal challenges these people had, their anger and annoyance to people who were difficult on the bus decreased dramatically. That if we take time to learn about who people are, maybe there's much less reason to be angry, though there might be reasons for compassion and care and having a strong conversation. And then to have empathy, to care about others, to have love, to have kindness, to try and kind of, following up what I just said about learn, really get to know people and understand more deeply what's going on with them when they behave. Even people who behave very difficulty, but not so much because they deserve it, but because it's actually better medicine for each of us, for ourselves, to have degrees of compassion, love, kindness, and empathy than it is to do the opposite, to be closed. And something grows in us when we take the time to be empathic. And then to a story substitution. So many of anger has to do with some story we're telling ourselves. And I've had anger with people, and I had the wrong story. I had made up a story, which was an interpretation that wasn't really what happened. And And so be very careful the stories you tell yourself. The fish gets bigger the more they tell the story, they say. What stories are you telling? And are they really accurate? Check out the story. Find out. Say, this is what I understand happened. And maybe it didn't happen that way. And or maybe there's more to it than meets the eye. And then speak. We talked about this yesterday. And as I said earlier, mindfulness meditation, this Buddhist approach to anger, is not to make us passive, mute, silent, uninterested, and uninvolved with the world and other people. Most anger is social. Most anger has to do with people around us, especially if it's really intense and simmers and lasts. The anger we have for technology or the weather or something doesn't have the same power as the anger we have with people and social circumstances. And so it implies that sometimes it's very important in the social world to speak. And what do we speak? How do we speak? How do we speak with kindness and clarity and purpose for bringing the welfare of everyone involved? And so that, I think, is one of the principles I'd like to end this discussion on anger. The principle that we live a life that looks for what's best for everyone involved in a situation. We don't look at just what's best for ourselves. We look at what's best for everyone, surprisingly, even for the people who've harmed us. That what's best for them, because what's best for ourselves and best for others fits into what's best overall as we create a better society. I'd like to end with a quote from Mahagusananda. He was kind of like the Mahatma Gandhi of Cambodia, or it was after the Khmer Rouge, the genocide there. He was the Buddhist leader of Cambodia, Buddhist monk. I've met him, lovely man, very peaceful, very loving, full of smiles. And he wrote, here, I do not question that loving one's oppressors, Cambodians loving the Khmer Rouge, may be the most difficult attitude to achieve. But it is a law of the universe that retaliation, hatred, and revenge only continue the cycle and never stop it. Reconciliation does not mean that we surrender rights and conditions, but rather we use love in all our negotiations. It means that we see ourselves in the opponent. For what is the opponent but a being in ignorance? And we ourselves are also ignorant of many things. Therefore, only loving kindness and right mindfulness can free us. So, to practice, bring anger under the purview of our practice, our mindfulness, and maybe we can negotiate with our enemies with love. So speak. So thank you, and I have a few announcements. One is that I'll be away on vacation next week, and so my friend and wonderful Zen teacher Paul Haller will come and teach this 7 a.m. this sitting starting Monday. And some of you remember Paul. He came and did a week back last May, when I did the Zen Vipassana kind of retreat. And so I'm very happy he's coming. And tomorrow, IMC's Earth Care group has a wonderful teacher named Tanisara coming to give a Dharma talk. You have to go into IMC's website. I think it's listed under What's New. And finally, I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I think, that I'm doing a day-long retreat online on July 9th. And I think it was not so easy to find where to register or the information about it. It should be easier now, because now it's in the What's New section of IMC's website much more clearly. And eventually it'll be clearly, I think, on the calendar as well. And but for now, it's in the What's New in the homepage. So thank you, and I look forward to coming back in a couple of weeks. And I'll be here on the 4th of July. Thank you.